Good morning. Today we will be talking about receivables management, the last topic scheduled for corporate finance to discuss. Very important topic and expected to have one question from here. When I say question, it could be combination of concept and numerical, both. Let's connect the receivable management, what it is, why we should look for receivables to be managed, and if it is not properly managed, what could be the implications to the organization. These three dimensions we are going to discuss. When we were talking about working capital management, which was current asset and current liability management, one of the component of current asset was receivables. In India, traditionally it was called as bills receivable. Globally, it is called as account receivables. Even on a local basis, it is called as sundry debtors. You must have heard the word debtors. But especially from financial angle, this is more as a credit extension. We talk credit. Because when you say receivables, when you say debtors, when you say bills receivable, these all are accounting terms. In finance, we are concerned with the credit. So what are those credits? Why credits? This is what we have to discuss. Best management is that there should not be receivable. Make cash sales or even in advance receipt, but normally it is not possible because of three reasons. First reason is you have to view whether these sales which you are making, how strong competition is, what is the nature of product, what is the ability of buyers to pay. These are the certain aspects which decides if you don't extend credit, you will not be able to sell. These are anyway subjective issues based on various players, markets and conditions, and depending upon that, one can have that whether receivable will be there or not there. But when we discuss this subject, it is very clear that we are assuming there is receivables. We are assuming that organization is not able to sell only on cash basis or in advance basis. There is always an outstanding. Customer has bought and has yet not paid. Maybe partially not paid. Say out of 100 rupees, 20 rupees down payment has been made and 80 rupees is still outstanding. Something of that nature that has to be specified. So how to view it? I am sure one thing I'll tell you, take with this mindset that these are the certain aspects. If you start putting yourself into the shoes of that organization, say you are a receivable manager or you are a sales manager, you are taking care of these exercises, what best way you can think of? There is no set pattern. There is established practices but not set pattern. You can decide on your own what way you are going to think of. But ultimately whatever you will decide, it will coherent into a given set of patterns. Some of the obvious sets of patterns we are going to discuss here. So let's look into what are the aspects which we are going to talk. There are few pillars. 4 important pillars are there. 5th, we talk about investments. The pillar is what kind of credit policy is there. Standards are there. Terms are there. And finally, what are the collection efforts made by the organization to receive the receivables. These are the 4 pillars. What are those 4 pillars? First one is Policy? How you make a policy? Very simple policy. I'll not extend any credit. Or I'll extend credit to A, B, C customer but not to D customer.
Or to a certain percentage.
Pardon?
To a certain percentage of the sales amount.
That is what you decide about. How policy is going to be set. What kind of policy is going to be set. So whenever we say policy word, you know it is niti. You make that. And it will vary. Sometimes even organization may decide different policy. By make of change of management, policy gets changed. It is to that extent subjective. So when it is subjective, it is actually decided how it is going to work. Now, understand here. So first one is policy. Which policy, how much policy is going to set. Second one is standards. What is the credit standards? Policy is there, extend credit. Then whom to extend credit, how much credit should get extended. These are the certain standards which has to be fixed. It has to be decided. Then next to it is going to be terms. When you are extending credit, what is your expectation when you are going to receive the amount? That is payment terms. And if suppose someone gives you in advance, are you going to give some benefit or not? That benefit will also be counted. In accounts also you must have done these calculations. Something like say term is 2 by 10, 1 by 20, net 30 or net 45. It's written like this. Say net 45. This could be one of the payment term. And one has to look upon how it is going to view. See, when we say 2 by 10 or 1 by 20 or net 45, it simply means one has got credit extension for 45 days. Means whatever credit has been given, it has to be received in 45 days of time. But if you make payment in 10 days of time, we will give you 2% discount. If you make payment in 20 days of time, we will give you 1% discount. But otherwise, you have to give the full payment in 45 days of time. Say 100 rupees is the credit. Means I got a credit of 100 rupees in, I have to make payment in 45 days of time. Now question is, if I make payment in 10 days of time, I'll have to pay only 98. That's it. Make payment of 98, you will get credit for 100. And it is going to be cost to the organization. It is going to be cost to the organization, 2 rupees discounting cost. Organization has to evaluate, and here numerical arise. As an organization, should we not? Right? If you extend credit, it's right, पैसा तो आ गया टाइम से, लेकिन कितना आया 98 रुपीज. अब क्या 98 रुपीज से आप कितने डेज में 35 डेज का डिफरेंस आया. आपको मान के चल रहे हैं कि टोटल पेमेंट आपको मिल जाता है. कितने दिनों में पेमेंट मिलता है 45 डेज में. कितने दिन में पेमेंट मिल रहा है आपको 10 डेज में. 100 की जगह कितना मिल रहा है. क्या आप 2 रुपीज 35 डेज का कॉस्ट है ना. You have to cross check that. You have to evaluate what is your opportunity cost of money. If your invested money of 98 rupees in 35 days of time, is it earning more than 2 rupees? That we have to cross check. आपके पास जो 98 आया, क्या 35 दिनों में वो 2 रुपया कमा सकता है या उससे ज़्यादा कमा सकता है. अगर उससे ज़्यादा कमा सकता है तो आप ऑफर करो, और अगर आप उससे सिर्फ 1 रुपये कमा पा रहे हो और 2 रुपये दे रहे हो, इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ कॉस्ट. सो डिसाइड अबाउट योर पेमेंट टर्म, व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी देयर. एम आई क्लियर? how it is going to get evaluated. So you require a lot of additional information to decide about whether this is feasible or not feasible. Clear? This feasibility has to be cross-checked. Now we have to see why question will become complex, because now additional information of opportunity cost will be there to you. Information of return on investment on your own fund will be there to you. Then there is going to be a cost associated to it. All returns are going to get calculated on the basis of annual. Your period is 35 days, 25 days, 20 days, something like that you have to calculate. This is payment term. So when you decide your payment terms, it has to be set accordingly. How much payment term is going to be there. And then after that, collection effort. It's a very, very important one. The lot of effort is required to get money collected back. Customer has taken it, but customer is not willingly paying. If customer is not willingly paying, then what will happen? How you will collect it fast? रिमाइंडर भेजोगे आप उसको? आप क्या 45 डेज का पेमेंट टर्म है, क्या 45 डेज तक इंतजार करोगे, या 30 डेज पे आप उसको रिमाइंडर भेज दोगे कि देखो भाई अगले 15 दिन में आपको पेमेंट करना है? देखिए, ये जो सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, ये सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स थोड़ा ट्रेडिशनल कॉन्सेप्ट्स है. जिस समय एसएमएस और ईमेल की फैसिलिटी नहीं थी, तो अगर किसी को रिमाइंडर भेजना है, लेटर भेजना है, तो आपका एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कॉस्ट आएगा. कोई पर्सन बैठेगा, इवैल्यूएट करेगा, क्रॉस चेक करेगा, उसके बाद लेटर भेजेगा, फ़ोन करेगा. फ़ोन भी कॉस्ट था, आपके बिल बन रहे हैं फ़ोन के, एफर्ट लग रहा है. आज के डेट में ईआरपी और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस से चीज़ें आसान हो गई हैं. अब जो डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं, इसका मॉडर्न अप्रोच डिफरेंट है. जिस कॉस्ट की बात कर रहे हैं वो कॉस्ट बहुत बड़ा कॉस्ट नहीं है, वन टाइम इस्टेब्लिशमेंट कॉस्ट है. एक बार आपने सिस्टम इस्टेब्लिश कर दिया, उस सिस्टम से आप अपना काम कर सकते हैं. वो आपको जनरेट कर दिया, आप फीड करते चले गए. दैट इज व्हाट राइट नाउ हैपनिंग. बट ए क्वेश्चन अराइज, स्टिल देयर इज अ कॉस्ट. और रिमाइंडर के बाद भी कलेक्शन न हुआ, तब क्या होगा? एंड suppose some organization who has got very high receivable, the nature of business is as such that it is based on receivables. Example, credit companies, NBFCs and banks who is giving loans, and installments are coming, and installments has started defaulting. Your effort is really required. Giving loan is one dimension. Collecting loan back along with your whatever interest and whatever amount is there is another serious effort. That serious effort is really required. So some business has got a very strong exercise related to receivables. Not only that, now there has been a two different kind of receivable practices in market. One is a very healthy practice, another is unhealthy practice. A good number of non-banks do unhealthy practices, keeping some time, goons to collect it, right? That is, anyway, even day before yesterday also, RBI has given a very strong directives to some of the non-bank finance companies. Now directives is in general that no coercive exercise should be there to collect the money. Coercive exercise, forceful activity. Generally in microfinance it happens to a larger extent. Microfinance, when we say it's a smaller amount, and for collection, people keep on doing nonsense. Those nonsense should be there, because we know formal versus informal set of the receivables. Informal is what? It is all Mahajan, money lenders, sitting and collecting money in their own way. And very interestingly, lot of ill practices there to collect the money. Sometimes fraud is there. Whereas formal system of collection is what formal institutions like banks and non-bank finance companies provide. So whenever we talk about receivables, it is not only B2B, B2C, it could be financial institution to the borrowers. They also has to look upon how best. In the organization, when we consider, some organizations are as such that they are collecting cash. I made it very simple statement, keeping manufacturing and service sectors in mind, that you don't require to sell on credit, you simply sell on cash. But that is not possible for bank. That is not possible for NBFC. The nature of business is as such, you are extending cash and then you will be collecting in a slow pace. So there it is, a nature of business is there. Okay, that's the way it is. Am I clear? Now look into the next. Whenever we consider this collection effort, how a strong effort is there that decides about whether we should borrow or not to borrow. When you will study in finance, microfinance, which I was mentioning, government has got a number of effort, but still that is not picking up in the rural area, and money lender is also flourishing. Because if government for last so many decades kept on working to penetrate into the rural areas, excuse me, in the last, either you attend the class or move out. Now, how it is going to work? What could be the system? How you are going to put effort? There you will find out through cooperative financings, through micro units financings. They have penetrated into rural areas. But still people are hesitant because of two reasons. Very stringent collection effort. Of course, first reason is lack of awareness also. And a stringent collection effort. What is a stringent collection effort? If you are not, if you are making any kind of a strong exercise, say some X person has not made the payment, defaulter, what you did, you went with the police and, caught him, put in the jeep, taken to the custody, defaulter. It's very much provision is there. Or confiscated the asset. Now that one case will deprive the so many of the people there, they will not come and collect. They say, inse paisa nahi lena. Because the prestige is gone. I might not have money, but I have a prestige in my area. That is what government is struggling. Lot of reports are there. And I suggest you, whenever you have opportunity, read that NABARD report to understand how collection effort is actually right now a challenge. And lot of collection guidelines has been set by the government. Do's and don'ts are clear. You can't go to home. When you should collect, what the timing should be there. These all are exercises which is very, very important to make the financial system successful. Now, another is money has not been collected, then what will happen? Your business has to continue. Come back to manufacturing organization, where in that manufacturing organization it is required you have to have the fund available to you. Your money is locked, and mind it, when we talk about locking in the receivables, entire cost of production has been locked. Because final product has been ready, that has been locked. How you are going to evaluate that? So there is a very simple calculation, and it is daily credit sales multiplied by average collection period decides about how much fund is going to be locked. So if average daily credit sales, say is 10,000 rupees is that credit sales, and 50 days is the collection period, average collection period, so 10,000 multiplied by 50, 5 lakh rupees is locked. And if 5 lakh rupees you are going to borrow from the financial institutions, either through the credit extensions, overdraft facility, or borrowings, may be having certain cost associated to it. and that is going to be the cost of your fund logged into the credit. So how to really reduce it, that is your question. So the first point, whenever we talk about policy, certain queries are there. Not necessarily everywhere everything will be present, but most of the factors which is going to decide about it is your nature of competition in the market where you are. You have to extend credit, because if you don't extend credit, somebody else is extending the credit, your customer will move to that place. So you have to give it. It is the nature of environment, nature of market is as such. Clear? So you have to be there in the market until unless you have that kind of confidence in your product, quality product, where you can easily get your business. People will rush to you because your quality is there, then you can dictate your term and conditions, but otherwise not. Otherwise you have to be there in the market. Similarly, industry practice. What is the overall practice in the industry? Whether competition is there or not. As I was mentioning you, banks and non-bank finance companies has always been there into the credit extensions. So credit cost has to be bear, right? Third one is bargaining power. Now sometime it happens. Who has got better bargaining power, the borrower or lender, or buyer or sellers? Depending upon the bargaining power, actually credit is decided. Now, I'll give you a very simple example of it. Especially in B2B, business to business. If a customer or big business house is having a strong bargaining power, series of suppliers of the material, they are ready to extend the credit to the extent what buyer is asking, what the big company is asking. And that decides about, because they feel the actual organization who is taking it, who is actually making the purchase, is enjoying the credit. And understand, this is what the base when we were talking about negative working capital. Current liability was higher than current asset. Why current liability was higher than current asset? Because buyer doesn't have that much requirement, still the supplier is ready to supply and ready to bear that credit, which is called a spontaneous liability get created by the organization because of your credit worthiness. Credit worthiness is very, very important. देखिए, आप अगर थोड़ा सा अच्छा आपका सिविल स्कोर हो तो देखिए आपको मैसेज आना शुरू होता है, योर प्री अप्रूव्ड लोन इज देयर. व्हाट इज दिस प्री अप्रूव्ड लोन? मस्ट बी रिसीविंग, और अमाउंट कैन बी वेरिंग. Amount can be varying. You may have a pre-approved loan of 20,000 rupees to maybe 20 lakh rupees, depending upon what kind of your CIBIL score and credit score is there. So it is actually going to talk about what is there. Similarly, nature of product. This is very, very important. Some product is sold just because of credit. Otherwise, buying is not possible. Because of the mindsets, because of the behavior. And the most important and very, very costly product is your house. Buying the house is not possible without the credit. Reason is two. First one, undoubtedly a big amount of money is required. And problem is not big amount of money. Problem is behavior. Suppose I have the ability to buy a house which has got 20 lakh rupees price by making down payment. एक 20 लाख रुपए का फ्लैट जहां भी अवेलेबल होगा उस एरिया में मैं डाउन पेमेंट करके इमीडिएटली एक चेक काट के या बैंक ट्रांसफर करके खरीद सकता हूं. जैसे ही मेरी 20 लाख के डाउन पेमेंट की कैपेबिलिटी होगी, मैं 80 लाख से 1 करोड़ का फ्लैट देखना शुरू कर दूंगा. दिस इज द बिहेवियर. मेरी एबिलिटी 20 लाख की है तो मैं 20 लाख के फ्लैट में शिफ्ट नहीं करूंगा, मैं 1 करोड़ का फ्लैट खरीदूंगा. और 1 करोड़ का फ्लैट कहां से होगा? 20 लाख के पेमेंट से. क्रेडिट. Credit has to be there, right? This is psychology. इट कीप्स ऑन मूविंग एंड इंटरेस्टिंगली 10 लाख फ्लैट वाला भी बोरो करके खरीद रहा है क्योंकि उसकी एबिलिटी 2-3 लाख की होगी, और करोड़ 2 करोड़ वाला भी बोरो करके खरीद रहा है। एक प्यून अगर खरीद रहा है ऑफिस में वो भी बोरो कर रहा है, और एक बॉस सेक्रेटरी भी खरीद रहा है वो भी बोरो कर रहा है। दिस इज अ बोरिंग माइंडसेट एंड वी कॉल इट enabling through finance. It is enabled. So is to the automobile. आपकी अगर ताकत है कि आप आराम से डाउन पेमेंट में 5 लाख का एक मारुति उठा लो तो आप जाओगे 15 लाख वाली कार पे, राइट? तो ये जो माइंडसेट है दैट बेसिकली टॉक्स अबाउट, सो नेचर ऑफ प्रोडक्ट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू क्रिएट द क्रेडिट। कभी कभी ये सोचता हूं कि अगर फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिट एक्सटेंशन नहीं होता तो कितनी गाड़ियां रोड पे दौड़ रही होती, कम से कम ट्रैफिक कंजेशन नहीं होता। इसमें तो दो मत नहीं है कि 90% ऑफ द व्हीकल रोड से बाहर हो जाते अगर क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता। और जितनी ये बिल्डिंग है जो टावर्स पे टावर खड़े होते जा रहे हैं, इसके पीछे कौन सपोर्ट कर रहा है? फाइनेंशियल मार्केट, फाइनेंस सपोर्ट कर रहा है। एंड दिस इज व्हाट प्री 90s पोस्ट 90s इंडियन इकोनॉमी। एक और कॉन्सेप्ट बदला है इसमें। पहले जो होता था स्पेशली फॉर हाउस, कार वगैरह तो एक्सट्रीम चीज थे 70s 80s तक। 80s के बाद टू व्हीलर्स के रिवॉल्यूशन थोड़े हुए, और मार्केट में 90s की ओपनिंग के बाद ये इतना आप ये डिफरेंट मार्केट देख रहे हो। एंड पीपल लाइक अस हैज गॉट फॉर्चुनेटली टू विटनेस बोथ द मार्केट्स नाउ, सीन दैट ऑल्सो एंड दिस ऑल्सो। व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, अगर पहले जो 80s तक 90s के बिगिनिंग तक जब तक ग्लोबलाइजेशन नहीं हुआ था, मार्केट में ओपनिंग नहीं था, तब तक अगर कोई हाउस ओनर की बात करता था, कोई फ्लैट के ऑनर की बात करता था, तो मान के चलता था फ्लैट का ऑनर का मतलब 50 साल प्लस वाला कोई होगा, 50 इयर्स प्लस 60 इयर्स प्लस का कोई होगा, क्योंकि एक अच्छा खासा पीरियड 20-25 साल 30 साल कमा चुके हो, तब जाके आपकी इतनी कैपेसिटी बनी है कि एक फ्लैट बना सको, एक मकान बना सको। तो ऑनरशिप का मतलब था कि 50 के आसपास के एज वाला ऑनर। और जब मार्केट ओपन हुआ, ग्लोबलाइज हुआ, और अपने यंग जनरेशन स्पेशली जो 2 साल 3 साल जाके 20 साल की उम्र में 5 साल फॉरेन में जॉब कर लिया, कैलिफोर्निया पोस्टिंग मिल गई, आ गए वहाँ से 5 साल में ही मालूम हुआ कि वो एक फ्लैट बुक कर लिया और फ्लैट खरीद लिया। वो आप लोग इकोनॉमिक्स में पढ़ चुके होंगे, नहीं तो फिर कभी फाइनेंशियल मार्केट में बताएं। कौन सा? 91 के बाद। दैट इज व्हाट वी से LPG, लिबरलाइजेशन, प्राइवेटाइजेशन, ग्लोबलाइजेशन हैज मेड दैट चेंज। तो क्या हो गया? एवरेज एज ऑफ ऑनर मालूम है, अगर आप ऑनर को बुलाना है, हो सकता है 25 साल का लड़का बाहर निकल के आएगा, कहेगा दिस फ्लैट बिलोंग्स टू मी। ये चेंज किसके बदले पे हुआ, किसके बलबूते पे हो रहा है? दिस इज जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ फाइनेंशियल एक्सरसाइजेस एंड credit extension has increased, and it influenced to that extent which is not part of right now in your this receivable management, but it is actually receivable management, very important part in financial market. And one strong question is going to be there at that point of time in your 3rd semester, and that is called NPA management, non performing assets. You must have heard it was a mega issue in the banking sector. और जब जैसे ही बैंकिंग सेक्टर आप पढ़ोगे, एनपीए पढ़ोगे, आप वहाँ पे आएगा। और एनपीए सबसे ज़्यादा अगर कंट्री में हुआ है तो 2007 से लेकर 2011 के बीच में, 7 to 11, दैट इज एनपीए। व्हाई? बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ क्रेडिट हैड बीन एक्सटेंडेड एंड दैट क्रेडिट एक्सटेंशन कलेक्शन एफर्ट वाज नॉट देयर, समहाउ पीपल डिडंट पे। आप अगर आज के डेट में कोई फ्यूगिटिव फाइनेंशियल ऑफेंडर्स की बात करेंगे, सबसे ज़्यादा नाम अगर किसी का सामने आता है इमीडिएटली तो विजय माल्या का नाम आता है, नीरव मोदी का नाम आता है। जो फाइनेंशियल ऑफेंडर्स हैं वो सब इस पीरियड के ही है। ऐसा नहीं है कि पहले फाइनेंशियल ऑफेंस नहीं होता था, लेकिन जो स्केल ऑफ ऑफेंस था वो इंक्रीज कर गया बिकॉज ऑफ पुअर कलेक्शन एफर्ट. The quantum of collection effort which was really needed was not made by the banking system. And 2011 से लेके 2015 तक का जो स्टेज था वो स्टेज स्टैंड स्टिल स्टेज हो गया. इसमें कलेक्शन एफर्ट आपने क्रेडिट देना बंद किया, बट क्रेडिट का जो आउटस्टैंडिंग है वो इंक्रीज करता रहा बिकॉज देयर वॉज ए इंटरेस्ट ऑन इट. जो आउटस्टैंडिंग है उस पर इंटरेस्ट, क्योंकि आपका वॉच क्लोज इंटरेस्ट वॉच क्लोज नहीं हुआ है और वो अमाउंट बढ़ता चला गया. एंड इट हैज बीन एक्सट्रीम हाईएस्ट अमाउंट इन 2016 एंड 16-17 went to the gross level of NPA 10 trillion rupees. 10 लाख करोड़ के आसपास का अमाउंट जो था वो अमाउंट आउटस्टैंडिंग की तरह बन गया. और वहां से क्योंकि 2015-16 lot of policy collection effort and policy effort has been made, and that policy effort ultimately decided that there will be no excuse those who have taken money out, and ultimately it was made very clear that now reducing. So it went like this and coming down continuously, and now bankers are feeling comfortable associated to it. That comfortability has been set. Now look to the next. Marketing tools. Credit is a marketing tool also. Buy today, pay later. अभी आपको किसने कहा है कि आप पेमेंट करो? पेमेंट मत करो, आप खरीदो ले जाओ. It is called consumerism, and that consumerism has got created. Very credit card concept is associated on that. कि आप जब चाहो आप खरीद लो, पेमेंट बाद में करते रहना. पेमेंट बाद करने में, और उसमें भी देखिए वो अपना अर्निंग चाहते हैं. And you know credit card system is that there is a 20 days credit extension without any charge, followed by pay minimum, keep on availing the credit. There is an interest, and look into interest, how hefty interest rate is. That's a very big amount is there. So it's marketing tool. Buyer's status. Sometimes buyer is of that level where you are giving credit to the buyer. Buyer in nature of buyer is that high. Followed by relationship with the dealers. How relationship is going to be there set. That relationship with the dealer is also very important. And transit delays. That's a very obvious. Transit delay means you have shipped the goods. It has not reached to that customer. Until unless customer has received it, customer will not make payment. Normally in international transactions, international goods bought and sold, export and import environment, this is very much in practice. Transit delay will be there, and in that transit delay, money is locked. So these are the certain aspects which we are going to look upon how credit is going to get counted. Now ultimately, what is the conclusion? Should we extend credit or should we not extend credit? That's the conclusion has to be drawn. क्या करना चाहिए? क्रेडिट एक्सटेंड करें ना करें? So what could be the right answer? There is no right or wrong answer. There is always a conditional answer. Depends. First, if I start answering it, my first answer will be, if my sales are not getting affected because of withdrawal of credit, then I will not extend credit. अगर मेरे सेल्स को फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, अगर मेरे सेल्स को फर्क नहीं पड़ता है तो मुझे कोई क्रेडिट एक्सटेंड करने की जरूरत नहीं है. A good number of services are of that nature where you will find out services without any credit, right? क्यों? क्योंकि आपको हर हाल में खरीदना है. Say hospital, health services. Health services are services where it is assumed that you have to buy it. You have to take that services, and when you have to take the services, it is required you have to make payment. Payment कीजिए. But then in that case, what kind of collection efforts, what kind of collection policies could be set? Collection effort is as such, look upon credit policy. If you make a loose collection effort, your sales will increase. Around collection efforts you are not making, loose collection effort, sales will increase. There was a bank which was making credit statement in 60 days of time. Rajasthan Cooperative Bank was there, launched credit card, making a statement in 60 days of time, and that 60 days of time, no effort is going to be made. Second, even if you have not paid, 20 rupees addition of penalty was there. I said there is no glamour in holding a Citibank or a Standard Chartered card. I am talking late 90s. It is better to, if you are a borrowing, better to take that Rajasthan Cooperative Bank credit card that is actually a good credit, having a loose collection effort, and that will not be charging you too much even if you have defaulted. Right? That's the way it has to be viewed. Next is, if you are taking tight one, people will not borrow from you. People will not take from you. Then in that case, there is always trade-off between two, and that trade-off will decide whether your collection effort should be tight or loose, so that at different level, suppose here or here or here, you can keep on evaluating, keep on counting how much of the credit value is going to be there. What is your cost? What is your revenue? How much your marginal profitability? If your marginal profitability increases because of the loosening of the credit, then in that case better go for it. Right? अगर मान लो आपको लूज कर रहे क्रेडिट, उससे 3 कॉस्ट इंक्रीज करेगा. कॉस्ट नंबर 1 क्या इंक्रीज करेगा? आपका फंड लॉग इंक्रीज कर जाएगा. आप लूज क्रेडिट करेंगे, पीरियड को बड़ा कर देंगे, तो कलेक्शन एफर्ट क्या हो जाएगा? आपका फंड लॉक ज्यादा हो गया, ज्यादा पीरियड के लिए लॉक हो गया तो ज्यादा कॉस्ट होगा. पॉइंट नंबर 2, अब आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? कलेक्शन एफर्ट बढ़ाना पड़ेगा, बार बार रिमाइंड करना पड़ेगा, भैया पेमेंट करो. लूज होने से क्या होगा? अब वो 45 डेज में नहीं दिया तो आप उसको फर्दर फॉलो अप करोगे. जो 45 डेज में क्लोज हो जाना चाहिए, अब उस पर भी आपका कॉस्ट लग रहा है. एंड तीसरा नंबर, जब आप लूज होंगे तो बैड डेट की पॉसिबिलिटी इंक्रीज करेगी, बैड डेट कॉस्ट भी इंक्रीज करेगा. तो 3 अलग अलग कॉस्ट इंक्रीज करेंगे आपके, लेकिन रेवेन्यू भी इंक्रीज करेगा, क्योंकि न्यू कस्टमर उस कैटेगरी वाले आएंगे. वी विल सॉल्व दीज थिंग्स थ्रू न्यूमेरिकल्स. सो लेट्स सॉल्व इट थ्रू न्यूमेरिकल. पहला क्वेश्चन आप लोग पहले एक बार पढ़ लीजिए, इसको देखिए, एंड वी आर गोइंग टू सॉल्व इट. और मान के चलिए कि शायद हेयर एंड देयर फिगर बदल के यही क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में आ रहा है, सेम आ रहा है. राइट? तो कैसे होता है देखिए, सॉल्व करते हैं इसको. पहला है, द स्टैंडर्ड फर्नीचर मार्ट हैज टोटल सेल्स ऑफ ₹600 lakhs and after tax profit of ₹69 lakh. Standard's profit margin have been declining over the last 2-3 years. Profit margin is decreasing. The proprietor of the company thought that this could be due to about 10% of the total sales to customer who are not financially very strong. He thought that perhaps the cost of maintaining these accounts is high, which may be causing a decline in the firm's profit margin. He therefore asked his financial manager to analyze the impact of tightening the credit policy by discontinuing sales to these customers. Question is complete. some additional set of information will be available to you, and on that basis you have to take a call. Really you want to discontinue or you want to continue with your sales? क्या करना है? कंटिन्यू करना है या डिसकंटिन्यू करना है? दैट हैज टू बी डिसाइडेड. कैसे करेंगे? अब देखिए इसको मैं फिर से आपके लिए करता हूं. इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन है. 600 का सेल्स है, 69 का प्रॉफिट है. आप देखिएगा इसमें कस्टमर अलग अलग हैं. कहता है कि द प्रोप्राइटर ऑफ द कंपनी थॉट दैट दिस कुड बी ड्यू टू अबाउट 10% ऑफ द टोटल सेल्स टू कस्टमर हु आर नॉट फाइनेंशियली वेरी स्ट्रांग. इसका मतलब 600 lakhs का 10% 60 lakhs ऐसे कस्टमर हैं, 60 lakhs का सेल्स हो रहा है, वो बहुत फाइनेंशियली स्ट्रांग नहीं है और उनके एफर्ट में आपका कॉस्ट ज़्यादा लग रहा है एडमिनिस्टर करने में, कलेक्शन करने में, तो उसको छोड़ देते हैं, उस सेल्स को छोड़ देते हैं. दैट इज व्हाट द व्यू. क्लियर? अब क्या करना है? यहाँ डिसीजन लेना है. यू आर दैट फाइनेंस मैनेजर who have been asked to do this, and that will decide about how it is going to work. Am I clear? See this. आप लोग इसका स्क्रीनशॉट ले चुके थे पहले वाले का. इसका अब लीजिए and look into it how to solve it. Let's start solving. एग्जाम में आ रहा है डियर, अब 1 महीना नहीं बचा है, यहीं इसको कंप्लीट कर लो. I mean, I say I mean it. I'm repeatedly saying I mean it. 600 लाख का हो सकता है, 1200 लाख हो, 800 लाख हो, ये हो सकता है ना. फर्नीचर मार्ट की जगह स्मार्ट मार्ट हो सकता है, लेकिन क्वेश्चन यही रहेगा, नेचर विल नॉट चेंज. तो कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे इसको? देखिए ये सेट इंफॉर्मेशन आपको दिया हुआ है, ये भी पार्ट क्वेश्चन का ही है. इस क्वेश्चन के पार्ट में आप गौर करके देखिए तो कॉक्स दिया हुआ है 82% इज द कॉक्स. एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कॉस्ट में 2 पार्ट हैं, 2.5% फिक्स कॉस्ट है एंड 4% वेरिएबल कॉस्ट है. सेलिंग कॉस्ट में 2.8% फिक्स कॉस्ट है एंड 5.7% वेरिएबल कॉस्ट है. बैड डेट लॉसेस 0.5% है एंड कलेक्शन कॉस्ट 0.2% है. टोटल वेरिएबल कॉस्ट 92.4% है. टोटल वेरिएबल कॉस्ट 92.4% है. इसका मतलब 1 - 0.9240 अगर कर देंगे तो आपको कंट्रीब्यूशन मार्जिन मिल जाएगा. दैट कंट्रीब्यूशन मार्जिन विल बी अवेलेबल टू यू. व्हाट इज कंट्रीब्यूशन मार्जिन? रेवेन्यू माइनस वेरिएबल कॉस्ट. Since it is in percentage term, we can talk about 100. So how much the percentage is going to be there? What is the amount will be available? 7.6%. 0.076 is going to be the value. This is the part of answer I am talking now. देखिए क्वेश्चन खत्म हो चुका है आपका ऊपर टेबल में. अब टेबल के बाद जो भी बात कर रहा हूं आंसर की बात कर रहा हूं, और इतने चॉइस आपके नहीं होंगे क्वेश्चन में. थोड़ा सा कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस करने के बाद ही आप आंसर कर पाएंगे. सो प्लीज ध्यान से सुनिएगा. तो आपके पास वेरिएबल कॉस्ट टोटल 92.4% है और इस वेरिएबल कॉस्ट के बाद द फर्म सेल्स टू फाइनेंशियली वीकर सेक्शन 60 lakhs है. ये भी क्वेश्चन में दिया हुआ था. 10% ऑफ 600 60 lakhs है. प्रॉफिट मार्जिन कितना है आपका? प्रॉफिट मार्जिन इसमें 4.56 lakhs होता है. सिंपल क्वेश्चन का आंसर देखिए कैसे आसानी से निकल सकता है. 4.56 lakhs का आपको उस आप जिसको डिसकंटिन्यू करना चाह रहे हैं वहां से आपको 4.56 लाख का प्रॉफिट आ रहा है। अगर उनको मेंटेन करने में 4.56 लाख से कम का कॉस्ट है तो हमारा प्रॉफिट मार्जिन है, इंक्रीमेंटल प्रॉफिट है, यही होगा ना। दिस इज द वे टू कैलकुलेट। 4.56 मिल चुका, क्लियर? 4.56 मिल चुका आपको। अगर 4.56 से ज्यादा इन पे एफर्ट लग रहा है, आपको खर्च करना पड़ रहा है, तब तो डिसकंटिन्यू कर दो। यही आंसर देना है ना हमें कि सर कंटिन्यू करो। क्यों कंटिन्यू करूं भाई? मेरा प्रॉफिट मार्जिन घट रहा है। भला सर प्रॉफिट मार्जिन कुछ और कारण से घट रहा होगा, ये तो आपको प्रॉफिट दे ही रहे हैं। व्हाट इज दैट प्रॉफिट? इंक्रीमेंटल प्रॉफिट। जितना उन पे कॉस्ट आ रहा है उससे ज्यादा उनसे रेवेन्यू अगर आ जाए, उनसे ज्यादा प्रॉफिट आ जाए, हमारा काम हो गया। दैट इज व्हाट वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट। सो वी हैव ऑलरेडी कैलकुलेटेड 4.56 lakhs ऑफ द profit is coming to them. If the firm tightens its credit policy and does not sell to the marginal marginal customers, it will save on bad debt losses and collection costs which are incurred on sales of rupees 60 lakhs to the marginal customers. क्या है आपका bad debt and क्या है आपका collection effort? 0.7. 0.7% means 0.007. 0.7% means 0.007 of what? Of 60 lakhs. Calculate that. Please give me answer. Two point 4.2 lakhs. 4.2 lakhs. And how much is your benefit? Go ahead further. So it's look into that. Actually, the change is going to be there. 60 lakhs profit margin. So it's 4.14 lakh. It's basically considered 4.14 lakh. The firm will lose 4.14 lakh contribution by avoiding collection cost and bad debt loss 0.442 lakhs bad debt. So it's how much is coming is 0.442. Calculate that through 0.442. So 0.442 is going to be that cost, resulting into there is a net gain. Now understand here, the firm will lose 4.14 lakhs contribution by avoiding collection cost and bad debt loss of 0.442 lakhs, that is 60 into 0.007. Clear? Resulting into the next step is to determine the investment in account receivables arising on account. Nowadays that your fund is going to be locked into that amount, and fund is going to be locked. How much fund is going to be locked? Account receivables arising on account of marginal accounts. The financial manager found out that the average collection period of a marginal account was 60 days against 45 days of the other accounts, and 80% of the sales to marginal accounts are on credit. Thus the sales value tied down in accounts available is rupees 8 lakhs. कैसे 8 lakhs आपका निकला? 8 lakhs is whatever sales you have made, sales is there into, that is 60 lakhs. 80% of that is locked. 80% of that 60 lakhs is 48 lakhs. 48 lakhs is locked. For how many days? For 60 days of time. 60 days of time it is locked. What is going to be your cost or margin? That margin is, so credit sales per day into average collection period, that was investment. Look into my first slide. First slides has given you that very formula. So this makes you invest 8 lakh rupees. What is going to be cost of 8 lakh is invested, but that 8 lakh will be recovered. It is only the cost which has to be counted. So what is going to be the cost, at what rate of financing is going to be there? Now that additional information might be available to you, and that additional information okay, that additional information will be available to you. Say at 15% rate it is going to be funded to you. So 15% rate for 8 lakh rupees for 60 days is going to be cost associated to you. Am I clear? So 68 lakhs at the rate of 15%, calculate how much amount is locked in your fund, and once you calculate that, you will have the final answer, and that final answer is available to you to get that amount ready. Therefore, it is decided to continue because it is adding 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh rupees of profit. Profit is more by using it so that you can earn a lot, right? This is what the question it is associated.